Last month, students at Florence Elementary in Mesquite gathered for a surprise. 84-year-old Don Douglas had come to see the kids for the first time, even though he already knew them quite well.
My mom, the best.
As we first reported a couple months ago, Don is legally blind.
Yeah.
And about a year ago, he was reading the newspaper through a projector when he saw an article that said a lot of local school children don't get enough to eat.
I still get upset when I think about kids being hungry.
So, Don went straight to Florence Elementary and demanded to see the principal.
He literally went into his billfold and pulled out $100 and said, I'm giving you this money, and this is to make sure that every single student in your building has the opportunity to eat.
Don still donates every month, and that $100 has been multiplying ever since.
It was really surprising to
After our story first aired, Don's generosity inspired other similar acts of kindness. Dozens of people sent donations from as far away as Georgia. Others gave money to schools in their own towns.
We've got a special honor for you.
And the city even recognized Don with a day in his honor.
2018 is Don Douglas Day, the city of Mesquite.
But not everyone who watched our story had the same happy feeling.
Why did it bother you so much?
Because I knew we had something. I knew we had something that could help this gentleman, and he was helping others, and I just, maybe wanted to pay it forward and help him out as well.
Steve Harris works with a company called C-Boost.
Yeah.
Steve told us about this device that can help some people, like Don, see more clearly.
It provides magnification.
So they invited him in to try it out.
It looks like it's going to work for you.
Don got to keep this one as a gift.
It's great stuff.
And while it improved his vision, it put those kids clearly in focus.
What do you want to do first after you do this test?
I could see the kids, but I couldn't see their faces.
Okay.
I want to see their faces. I can with these glasses.
And that was his intention when he went back to the school 2 weeks later.
Hi, kids.
Until Don told the kids he had a surprise.
They peeked, they gasped.
For the first time in years, Don read a book straight from the pages.
Everywhere Dot went, Wolfie went too.
And for the first time ever, saw the faces smiling in return.
You're a beautiful bunch of kids. When I think about the future, I'm not worried because I know you kids are going to have a good future for all of us. And I thank you for letting me read to you.
If only we could all see so clearly. Sean Giggy, Channel 8 News. Lance Donahoe wasn't going to be part of this story until it landed on his doorstep.
When something kind of falls in your lap, it's hard to ignore. This message landed in my yard for some reason. I didn't know what, but I certainly was curious.
It happened a few weeks ago when out of the sky, a balloon floated through the trees.
Found it right here.
Lance, a business coach and trainer, was on his way out the door when he found it.
Walked over and found a note covered in dew and read it, and was immediately realized what I had in my hand was a very special message.
The note was signed by two little girls who lived just 4 miles away in Bedford.
It's okay.
7-year-old Gypsy Reddick
Yeah.
and 6-year-old Story Reddick.
Sissy, it's time for bed.
They're sisters, and although they intended on someone receiving their balloon, that yard was not the destination.
We saw it going down. It didn't go up to heaven.
The girls meant that balloon for their daddy in heaven. Skylar Reddick died in 2017, the result of a car accident nearly 10 years earlier.
I just love him a lot.
And the girls
Me too.
have sent him notes on his birthday each year since. On this balloon, Story wrote, "Dear Dad, we want to go up with you. We miss you so much."
A note to Daddy. Yes.
More than anything, the girls wanted their dad to know
Fly right
he's still very much on their hearts.
That's coming super slow. We're still thinking about him. And,
Perhaps a sign that he was listening. When they released that balloon, the letter S, Skylar's initial, was in the clouds.
He was caring and loving, and he loved being a dad.
If his daughters needed something, Skylar was the type of dad who would do anything to be there for them, especially now.
I know. Wait.
A couple months ago, Story started having seizures.
I know, baby.
And this year, on her dad's birthday, the day after they released that balloon, she was admitted here at Cook Children's Hospital in Fort Worth. Story has spent weeks being poked, prodded, and examined. The medical bills alone are overwhelming, and doctors still don't know what's wrong. But they are certain it's a form of epilepsy. And it was during that recent visit to Cook Children's in Fort Worth that Lance Donahoe found that balloon. Lance, who has 2 children of his own, posted about it on Facebook.
I felt somewhat responsible. This balloon landed in my yard.
Within hours, it had been shared more than 100 times.
They kept asking, how can we help? It was suggested to start a GoFundMe page.
In just a few days, Lance and his friends on Facebook raised more than $3,000 for these girls. They're also working to provide Story with an epileptic service dog.
there we go.
All of it possible thanks to a father who answered their prayer.
I think we all have an opportunity every day to be the answer to somebody's prayer.
So this is her dress.
I'd have to say it was definitely their dad looking over them. There's no doubt in my mind.
It feels good to know that he's seeing us and knowing what we're saying to him.
And because of that guardian angel, they now have a piece of heaven on earth.
Do this, Gypsy.
Sean Giggy, Channel 8 News. If it's your second day on the job and security is already calling you out by name, you've probably made the wrong impression. But at this office tower in North Dallas, if the security guard doesn't know your name, that's just because he hasn't met you yet.
Margot! Hey, Logan. Hey, Pam. Hey, Natalie. Hey, Steve.
Tim Esters has been guarding the front door here for the past 3 years.
Carolyn, how are you?
And no one gets by Tim without a proper greeting. At first, a proper greeting simply meant saying hello.
How are you? Good.
Until one day, someone responded, "You too, Tim."
If you call me by my name, I'd like to address you by yours.
And so began Tim's mission to learn and remember as many names in this building as possible.
Alicia, how are you?
Which,
Hey, Austin.
with 21 floors,
Hey, Kevin.
seemed quite
Hey, Ann.
impossible.
Have a good one.
And yet, Tim has done something remarkable.
I know a few people from every floor.
Actually, it's much closer to a few thousand.
Well, I'm being kind of modest, I guess.
Of the nearly 3,000 people who walk through that door, Tim knows more than 2,000 of them by name. Tim says if he hears a name once,
Have a good one, Hillary. What's up, Kelly?
he won't forget.
Stephanie, you doing okay? They asked me, how do you do that?
He claims there's no secret to remembering 2,000 names.
Hey, Julia.
His only explanation, he simply loves people.
Yep. Just like my family.
It's obviously a very thoughtful thing to do. But folks here say Tim
You feeling better today?
does a lot more than just remember their name.
Makes you feel special.
Makes you feel known.
Like a family.
And he makes you feel important.
It was a man told me a long time ago, it's just nice to be nice.
In America, we despise each other because of politics or religion.
Hey, Jamie.
But if Tim Esters shows us anything, it's that we have an ability to love one another even more.
Hey, Yumna. How are you?
Sean Giggy,
Have a good day.
Channel 8 News Daybreak.